Greetings and salutations, my friends. It's been a little while since I've done a video. This took me a lot longer than I thought it would. Today we will be making a pair of red boots. Now, if you wait till the end of the video, you can see a couple of things go very, very, very wrong. And you only see it if you watch till the end, so make sure to do that. Alright, so here I am cutting out all the different pieces. That paper piece that I'm moving around a ton is called the heel vamp. That is the back side of the upper of the boot, and the upper is basically all the leather on the boot. So just figuring out how to do it where it's the most space efficient. And then that piece that I'm now tracing out is the heel support. So you have, what I usually like to do is I put basically those go on the outside of the heel vamp on the heel. You'll see later in the video. And then a suede version of that goes on the inside, and that just basically gives the heel its shape and makes sure it is firm with its shape. So now I am tracing out the toe vamp, which based on the name, you can guess that goes at the toe. It's basically the rest of the boot with the tongue and everything. And obviously I've got a right and a left, and this is just a piece of tracing film. And that mark you saw me make is a toe mark. It basically will help me when I'm putting the upper onto the sole later in the video. So yeah, no, I'm just making sure to trace everything out. Now, oh yeah, okay. And I was just wondering, I also traced out the toe caps, which go on the tops, on like the caps of the toe, basically on the outside. Okay. So here I am cutting stuff out. Eventually I switch over to using the my shears to cut stuff out. I think I do a couple of these with a knife, and I realize it's just not really working that well because some leather likes to move around a lot. Yeah. Yeah, sorry. This has been a while since I've done one of these, so I don't even really know what to say. Honestly, on my end, what I usually do is I commentate this after I've edited the video. And on my end, the shot is very, very choppy because I've time-lapsed it like 20 times faster than the original video. So it's kind of having a hard time keeping up. So yeah, I'm just cutting everything out, and you see I'm making multiple passes. I like to go very little pressure and just go over several times, because when you do a lot of pressure, what happens is it's much easier for your knife to slip and for you to make fatal mistakes for not only your piece, but also your hands, to be honest. You can see a couple of marks on top of the ruler. That is where I've had a knife skip, which is where the blade hops up on to the cutting edge and usually right into the end of my finger. So I've had enough cut fingers to make sure I go light pressure, make multiple passes. Okay, here you see I switch. Now I'm just using the shears. And apparently you get a shot of my thigh for some reason. I thought it'd be cool to set up the camera on the chair and whatever. I'm trying out new camera shots, okay? Yes, so you can see I'm cutting out some heel vamps and whatever. Oh yeah, one of them I mess up and I have to recut. I don't know if I have it. I don't know if I show it in the video. I know I show the mess up part, but I don't think I show recutting it. So here are those heel supports. And then also the back, the toe cap. That's what it's called. And I don't know why this happens. Maybe I just need a touch of glue, but the screw on my shears always keeps coming off. Like, it keeps loosening to the point where the shears are basically falling apart. I have to retighten it whenever I'm using it. Yep, more toe caps. Okay. Yeah, here I am skiving, which is probably my least favorite thing to do. I'm not very good at it. And, as I always say, the only way to get good at something is to just do it. But I struggle a lot with this. So in the future, like I said at the beginning of the video, there's several things that go wrong. One of them is that I don't have this skive down enough. And the main, thing that makes making these boots easy is if you have a nice thin edge. Because there's a lot of gluing, a lot of tight angles that you have to make the leather go into. And when you've got, 3 or 4 layers in one section, it doesn't want to go into a tight angle. So you can see I get a little bit of a feathered edge, but you're supposed to have I should have a feathered edge everywhere, and that's just not the case. So there's a great industrial tool that I hope that I can get one day. I will get one day, hopefully soon. That is called a bell skiver. It basically does all of this in 1 or 2 passes. It's basically just like a grinding wheel that you pass the leather through, the edge of the leather through, and it shears off, skives off as much as you want. And it would take this entire process, which is probably a good 3 hours of just skiving, and turn it into a process of no more than 5 minutes. So yeah, that's a huge thing. But when it comes to those industrial tools, they are very expensive. So it's a couple thousand. I mean, that's probably $3,000 or $4,000 I just don't have right now. So alas, I'm trying to do it like this. That's one of the main reasons why I'm not selling boots yet, is because I've got the knowledge to make them right. I just don't have the right tools to do it effectively. So I'm skiving down all these edges. I'm attempting to skive them down. And this part is going to be glued on the outside of the toe vamp. So if you've ever seen boots with a toe cap, that's what that's going to be. And then I have a piece of veg tan, which is going to go on the inside, which will give it its shape. And I have to say, the shape, I think, just the firmness of the toe turned out really well. It's just wasn't quite as nice as I had hoped it would be. So now I'm using barge contact cement. Now, if you're not an idiot, which I am apparently an idiot, do not do this if you don't have a good cross draft, because my entire house smelled like toxic glue for 5 days after I did this. So make sure you have some good ventilation when you're using this product. Okay, yes, you can see the skiving. A lot of the skiving I just didn't show because it's the same shit, to be honest. Water. I don't know if my voice is sounding very gravelly, but yeah. So putting the glue on. These are the veg tan pieces. I didn't even show cutting them out or skiving them down or anything. But it's basically the same process. So, I don't know why. Okay, whatever. Yeah, here I am putting the outside heel supports on there and just hammering it down. That's a little hammer I made a couple years ago out of just some pipe fittings and an old shovel handle. Here I am gluing on the inside of the toe. That's what'll give it its shape. Apparently I didn't show the rest of it. Yeah, so you see, we're back to skiving. And that suede is on the inside of the heel vamp. Now, this is, so the tool I was using before is called a Japanese skiving knife. This is called a French beveler. It does a better job but it's still not as good as just using the bell skiver, to be honest. I mean, nothing's going to be as good as just using the bell skiver. So in the future, I mean, maybe even the next pair that I make will be once I have the right tools to like make a very refined looking boot. Okay, so now I am putting in the chisel line. I don't know why that was so bright there for a second, but I'm putting in the chisel line that will be for a stitch line that will join the two each pair of heel pieces together. Now, here's another big mistake I made. That line is a 1/4 inch from the edge, and that is way, way too much. It just leaves basically a giant, thick spine going down. So in the future, I will do an 1/8 of an inch versus what is this, a 1/4 inch. Now, in a perfect world, this should be done with a zigzag sewing machine, so where you don't have to lay these flat and sew them together like this at all. I just don't have the zigzag sewing machine, to be honest. I have this really cool vintage sewing machine that could sew leather and has a zigzag function. I just don't know where I could get it fully repaired and functional. So hey, if you know anywhere that does vintage sewing machine repairs, please leave a comment, because that would be much, much appreciated. So yeah, I'm doing a very simple crosshatch stitch here. And yeah, I mean, it's just a long shot of me doing this, to be honest. That's kind of how we do here on this YouTube channel. I just kind of take all the clips and put them into my editing timeline and just speed them all up, and then I'm left with I don't know what the fuck to say during these videos because each clip is so long. Yeah, so crosshatch does not need to be this big like the stitch line. I don't know what I'm doing there. Oh yeah, I think the needle came off of the thread. Yeah. Jesus. Okay, here. I'm coming to the end. The end. And I'm just figuring out a way to tie that off. Going around a few times. And then those ends will just be glued in. Okay, so now you'll see the first issue. You can see how much of a spine is there. And as I am hammering this down, either it folds to one side, or what happens at the actual heel part is it just rips the leather apart. Because I'll flip this over. I think I'm going to flip it over. Right. Come on, Nicola, what are you doing? Trying to get that to flatten out, but okay, I didn't show it. But yes, I flipped it over, and then I glued on this red suede strip covering that line. And here's I just thought it'd be cool to do a nice close-up shot of my sewing machine going. This is the Sailrite Fabricator. It is a fantastic sewing machine. It's limited in some aspects because it's not a cylinder arm machine, and it doesn't do well with like extraordinarily thick leather. But on most of my, it can sew my wallets and things of that nature. which actually that just reminds me, when I'm sewing these on to the actual soles, I adjusted the tension and I have to adjust it back. Yeah. And another mistake, oh wow, this video is just full of mistakes, is that you can see that bit of the suede is popping out on the back side. It kind of like goes around and makes a loop and then glues onto the inside of the heel vamp. And what happened was the thing just like moved around as I was sewing, which obviously is a problem. Yeah. This is just full of mistakes, but you know what? That's life. Okay, here I am going back down. One thing I will say is that the logo looks fucking awesome on this red leather. You can see it. My hand's covering it, which is probably not good for branding. Oh, yeah, just cover up the entire fucking thing, Nicola. Oh, there you go. There you go. You get a little... I think I thought of it while I was sewing, like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be covering this up. There you go. There you see the little logo. Here I am coming down the red suede. Skidoo bop bop. Here we go. We're getting to the bottom, boy. Oh my god, you should hear how amazing this sewing machine sounds. Maybe I'll upload a short of it. I mean, I've uploaded several shorts of it, actually. Watch my YouTube shorts. Where I just love the sound of this sewing machine. Like, when each stitch is locking in, it just sounds so good. Okay, now I am attempting to give a POV shot of me finishing this stitch by melting these thread tails. Probably should have gotten a manicure before I did that, because my nails do not look great. Hey, you know what? That's what happens when you're working with leather and glue and working in the yard and everything, is your thumbs just get absolutely fucking destroyed. Also, I tend to pick at my thumbs for some reason. It's annoying that I do it, but I also like can't stop doing it. I don't know. Whatever, I'm not going to discuss you guys any further with my plebeian talk. Okay, yes, here I am trying to use this. It's called a soling knife. I got it from my instructor who taught me how to do these shoes. But I can see why she doesn't really use it, because this thing is deadly sharp. I got it sharpened, and it's so easy to cut yourself with this. It's insane. So I used it. I thought it would look cool for a shot, but to be honest, when I'm making these for people to actually buy, I will not be using that tool. Let's see here. What are you doing, Nicola? Okay, I didn't show cutting out the rest of it, but here are all the pieces together, and I have put glue on all of them, and I'm just test fitting to see how the heel vamp and toe vamps are going to go together on the actual on the boot when it's done. So you can see the toe marks line up, because there's a toe mark on the sole and a toe mark on the actual toe vamp. And so those line up, and then I'll put on... Oh, actually... Yeah. What are you doing, Nicola? Yeah. I mean, it's just not ideal the way I prepped these pieces for this step, because the edges are not thin enough and whatever. And yeah, that's basically the bane of my existence when it comes to making shoes, is the edges are never thin enough. But you can see it looks pretty awesome, I have to say. I don't like to toot my own horn a lot, but I would say I have a pretty good eye for design there. I think it's cool. I don't know. Maybe it looks stupid to some other people, but you know what? Fuck 'em. Okay, so now I'm doing the other one. The important thing when you're doing this is to make sure that everything is symmetrical, because this is how you determine where exactly the heel vamp is going to be sewn onto the toe vamp. And so if things aren't symmetrical, when you go back and glue it permanently to the sole, you're going to have problems. So that's why I'm getting down on my knees and looking and making sure everything fits and matches and whatever. So here I am. This is for the eyelets. Just to add another piece of leather in there, because the one piece of leather is too thin to actually support the eyelets going all the way through. So, and now I'm just sewing on that piece. Now, I did a couple things out of order here. Typically, I would have already had the eyelets on, and you're supposed to do that before you do anything, like before you do that first glue or whatever. Okay, it's like stop motion. I don't know what's going on here. Oh yeah, this is part of a reel that I did on Instagram that got fucking like almost 20,000 views and like 3,200 likes, and I don't know, I was blown away. It got so many. Yeah, it was like literally that, but in regular time. It was so weird. Okay. Yeah, so now I have the pieces together. I don't think I even showed putting them on. To be honest, I was feeling very lazy by the end of this. I was tired and exhausted and whatever. So I'm just like, you know what? I'm just going to show pieces of it. And once I actually have all the tools to make a really good pair of boots, I'll do a full tutorial and in-depth whatever. But I just wanted to show you guys, because I feel like nobody really goes into depth what's happening for the shoes. There's plenty of people who make videos on making shoes, but they never really go into depth on all the pieces and how it goes together and everything. It's all like ASMR stuff. So figured, maybe this knowledge is interesting. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's all Chinese, to anyone who doesn't really understand leather, but maybe it's interesting. Let me know if you guys find all the technical info interesting, because I can talk about leather for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. Okay, this is a very choppy shot. I'm sure it won't be like this when it actually is, when the video is actually like rendered and whatever, but it's not fully rendered right now, so this is so choppy. Oh my god. Basically, I'm gluing it onto the sole. Okay, here we go. Now I am putting more barge onto the outsole, which is going to be glued to the midsole, and then I'm going to sew through everything, then put the heel on. So I'm adding barge here, making sure I let it set for, I don't know, like 15 minutes till it's like dry feeling but tacky. And now I am putting it on, and you see, okay, I'm a little out of the shot, and I just decided like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do it and whatever. Basically what you do is you put the heel on, and then you put it against a table edge, and you do it at like a 90-degree angle, because it creates an almost like ski-like shape instead of just flat, because then you'll be walking on a board. And here I am just sanding the heels relatively smooth. Now again, this is not optimal, because optimally I would have something to just, like, I would overcut the heels, glue them on, and then I would have something where I could be able to trim them all smooth, then sand at a slight angle, instead of sanding everything to be smooth. So, I mean, my teacher uses a bandsaw, but I don't really have the money to buy a bandsaw, so I may have to hold off until I can actually get all of these tools that would help me perfect this. But yeah. I think this is the final no, there's one more shot where I put on some shoe cream just to make the color nicer. yeah, now I'm just sanding the edges, and I mean, I don't even have this thing clamped down, so it's moving around. Yeah, it's just not great, to be honest. Yeah. It's not a great setup. So this is definitely a long shot. It takes a while to do. This is just outside my garage, which will eventually be my future shop at some point. Although I've been saying that for like 3 years. It's not happened yet, but okay. So here I am putting on some shoe cream. Now, you're going to see something terrible happens. Yeah, that quick little shot, it was really fucked up. The shoe cream was like expired, and so the wax didn't go on right, and so I went and bought some new shoe cream. I wasn't able to cover up that completely, so that kind of sucks, although yeah. But yeah, basically put it on shoe cream and giving it a nicer, brighter red color and giving it like a finished finish, basically. Something that, making it as close to something that you would be able to buy at a store as possible. Yeah, you can really see the dust flying around. What the hell? That's crazy. I don't know why that is. Okay, yeah. So putting on the shoe cream, making it look nice and red and whatever. And this is where I'm going to end this, because the rest is going to be full sound, whatever. So if you like this video, if you found it interesting, please leave a like. It helps out the channel. Subscribe. We've seen some really good growth. First goal is 1,000 subscribers. We're at like 125 right now. So thank you. And yeah, I'm going to try and make more videos more quickly. So enjoy the rest of this. Subscribe. Really?
Well, not, I mean, it did say pouring, but it said 100% chance, so.
Okay, so I just wanted to get your final opinion on these. I know the laces are a little long, but
There, you did a beautiful job. The only thing that is not good is this wonkiness here. How it goes in there, comes almost to a point. It's like, if you don't have the machine to do this properly, I would not do it anymore. Why?
because they're for you.
I mean, I assumed as much, which is why I was, sad to tell you that. But I mean, look at that. Do you not see that? I'll wear them. I can wear them. Did you carve the shape?
Yes.
I mean, it looks like it's something from like it's from like 1682 or something. So it's like small in the back and big at the front, which is fine. But I mean, like, look down at any shoes you wear. You have to be honest with yourself. And I'm not saying, ew. I'm just saying, like, if I were you, I would own that in the video. Because if you show that, people are going to be like, this guy thinks he's a shoemaker? Like, why are you laughing? I mean...
Oh my god.
And also, like, it's hard to cover that up, but, I mean, they feel great, So how are you going to end the video?
Like this.
Oh my god! I'm just being honest. Can't
So
say
you
that
don't
anymore.
like them.
I like what you were trying to do. But it just, there's no shape here. Like, it should go in here and a little bit out to give a shape. See? Right here.
No. It does
But
go
this
in
is
a little bit.
this is a great learning tool, honestly.
Yeah, big guy.